So judging by our score now, we're 1-5, which puts us as tied for last. We came here to win as much as we could, and we're here trying our best, so we'll just kind of take it day by day.
Smithy could steal across the wall with the blast cone. He's gonna jump in. And Smithy gets it! The hope is alive as Team Liquid take down RNG.
一开始就觉得就能拿一胜就拿一胜，但是没想到变成6连，所以是非常惊讶。
Gets away, Yasuo in the front line gets 2.
For the Forge God from behind, Evos will not go quietly into the night. Keep your eyes on Reckless. He's caught, he's silenced, he's feasted, but he's not dead yet. Finally, Xiaohu takes him down. Ole goes down, Double F follows. Nobody from Kingzone dies.
I'm definitely having fun this tournament.
It's slow. My pizza!
I have to kill him. He was gonna kill me. Sorry.
No. I just hope we can win even more, so there's even more time to have fun.
Welcome to Berlin, Germany, and the 2018 MSI group stage. With only 2 days left, we've got some crucial matchups ahead of us as the teams look to secure their spots in the semifinals. Here we see the teams loading into the arena just a moment ago. Uzi getting in that stretch, looking to pilot his team to another couple victories today. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson here with Indiana Frosker in black, Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler, and Joshua Jat Leesman. We have stacked the analyst zone with the NA analysts.
Yeah, NA analysts are showing up today. Jat is showing up, and one of those!
I may have forgotten my shoes. Wouldn't it be better to not have shoes on at all, or to have these on?
I like to believe you just came in from like a sweet 2-hour run or something.
Can you do this?
That's true. The movement available to Jat in the analyst zone is quite superior to Kobe's. Anyway, continuing to bring the action to all corners of the world, we do have our international broadcast partners. Here you see them on your screens now. Again, a truly global event. We're happy to have them all with us, broadcasting to everyone around this beautiful planet. Now, after going undefeated so far at MSI, Flash Wolves have already secured their spot in the semifinals, with Kingzone looking to join them in their upcoming games. RNG managed to catch up to Fnatic after yesterday's win, while Team Liquid and EVOS are in last place at 1-5.
And the question is this going to be the dream run? Are we finally going to see a team go undefeated through group stage, the big 10-0? Because right now, Flash Wolves look unstoppable.
Especially after the last game they just played against Kingzone. They showed different styles. They're playing the map really well. The shot calling is on point, but I do think that there is going to be a Flash Wolves loss today.
Some predictions for the Flash Wolves loss. We'll get to those specific matchups a bit later on. Talking about Kingzone, though, as well, and some of the struggles they've had, Jat, we're kind of seeing an interesting mentality develop, and we heard it in a lot of interviews yesterday, sticking to styles and finding styles and identities for each individual team.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you talk about underperforming teams at this tournament. I actually feel like Kingzone has underperformed about as much as Liquid. It's just Kingzone coming into the tournament poorly makes them 4-2.
Oh, man.
Because we were expecting them to just totally demolish everyone with all these different styles, and that's actually been what Flash Wolves has done so far. But I do think that Kingzone will be getting stronger from here on out. But you do never know as well. They haven't won much internationally before. They were 3-0 at Worlds, right? BDD and Connor, these super hyped Korean players that come internationally and have looked mostly average. But that game against TL yesterday looked very promising.
And Prey's interview afterwards kind of indicates what they're going to do moving forward. He said they want to play aggressively and they're going to play that split style.
Yeah, we're starting to see that comment come out more and more, that offense in this tournament perhaps more important than defense. Let's continue to dive into that topic and what it means for a team to play offensively.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people people will just default to, oh, that means draft early game. You need to have all winning lanes and smash them and look for kills with your jungler. But we've seen it develop in different ways throughout this tournament even. There have been globals used very early on for cross-map plays, split pushing strategies, and there are more unique ways to go about it than simply trying to push your lane and move forward.
Something even simpler than that, I think it's playing not scared, playing to win instead of to not lose. So many times we hear in interviews, about the confidence, about, this guy's the best, I don't know if I can match up to him or something like that. But for me, just play your style. Go into your comfort zone, recognize what makes you strong, and then just put it all on the line.
All right, well, we're going to have 2 days left of group stages for teams to prove that they can play to that level. We've seen 3 days of MSI group stage so far, and I want to take a closer look at some of the key players in smurfing or slumping. Let's start with a guy who surprised us yesterday in Flashwolves top laner, Hanabi.
And the thing is coming into this, there weren't any expectations of if he was going to slump or if he was going to smurf. He is a rookie, but he showed up and he was smurfing through this game. You hardly ever see a Yasuo that clean with that type of team fighting engagement, not just dueling in a side lane.
Yeah, it's been actually insane how well he's played this tournament, based on the fact that we'd never seen him internationally before, and most people didn't even know he existed before this tournament when we're talking about our audience, and we also were not expecting this from him.
Yeah, probably one of the least known players coming in. Kobe?
It almost feels like someone transferred to your server that was well known on some other server, super good.
Right.
Not a smurf, but definitely surprises people still.
Now, on the other hand, we had a player with huge expectations coming into this tournament. That's Kingzone's top laner, Khan.
Yeah, and I think he's had a bit of a hard time just adjusting to this environment. He was so comfortable in the LCK, confidence against everyone, saying every top laner in the world will bow before me. But when it actually came to execution in a lot of those games, he's had a bad Vladimir game. He said he was 3 out of 10 when he actually had kind of a better game, but a lot of inconsistency out of him, and by no means is he a top player at this tournament so far.
And that's the thing, it's the way that he's failed on multiple styles as well. We would expect it that if Khan came in, he just played the tanks, that yeah, he would start to slow down. But like you're saying, he had some of those carry champions like the Vladimir, and he was unable to make it connect. And so I want to see him find his stride some more and really showcase that talent.
Next up, I want to move to Fnatic's mid laner in Caps.
Caps, I think everyone would agree, is definitely smurfing at this tournament. Praise has been thrown at him over and over again, and it is well-deserved. After the team talks so much about him maturing and, having a more consistent lane phase, he has also been playing the side lanes, getting solo kills on people. He actually has the most kills of any single person at this tournament. Yet, when someone is smurfing, sometimes they get a little over-aggressive. There have been mistakes. Overall, though, extremely impressive performance.
And also, the Vladimir late game against the Camille. I actually talked to a lot of Camille players and a lot of pros, and most people say Camille should win those 1v1s. The Caps was winning at the end. Yes, the turret was helping him out and stuff, but a lot of the time, Camille actually just kills the Vladimir throughout those combos.
So a lot of success coming out of the Fnatic mid laner. Let's talk about the other carry for that squad. Again, expectation around this guy was high coming into the tournament. Reckless.
And where is Reckless? Frankly, outside of one Ezreal game, we really haven't seen the superstar ADC that we expected to see domestically from Europe. And it's part of the reason why Fnatic did start the tournament very cold and weren't able to pick up their win, in my opinion, against RNG yesterday.
Yeah, you even look at that last team fight, the build not having a QSS, not necessarily stepping up in the right times, and finding the balance between playing his style, which is usually a safer laning phase where he can still get an advantage, and then team fighting, but he's having a really hard time turning the corner that he normally does in the team fight phase.
The next player on the list is RNG's jungler, MLXG.
MLXG, people have memed about it a lot, over the course of this tournament, but this is a guy who you feel like is smurfing and slumping simultaneously. A lot of times in the games, he'll come up with huge individual plays, that can win a whole team fight or win an objective for your team. But so far this tournament, overall, he has been slumping because there have been more mistakes from him that have actually lost his team the game. So we're definitely looking at him for kind of the turnaround.
And the Nocturne game is certainly going to stand out to a lot of people. He had a lot of bans thrown at him, but specifically when he does get those power picks like the Trundle, like the Olaf, he's still not making the same impact that pretty much every other jungler in the tournament is making, which is just complete night and day difference from his playoffs performance domestically.
All right, and finally we have Flashwolves AD carry, Betty.
Yeah, and this guy definitely smurfing. We had a segment at the start of MSI group stage talking about the big 480 carries that were coming in here. He wasn't part of that club. So he made his own club, and it's only for the best 80 carries at MSI. Yeah. 15.5 KDA this guy has.
And no one else is invited,
CST.
Jet.
It's only Betty. He gets to have as much fun as he wants. No one's going to come trap him in conversations he doesn't want to be a part of. He can just continue to be a great 80 carry who was #1 in the Korean solo queue ladder later, put in a ton of work throughout the year, and we're seeing the benefits.
Maybe he'll invite Sword Art. This
there you go. Yeah.
Sword Art 80 carry. It's an 80 carry.
All right.
You get to bring a +1 as an 80 carry.
Oh, there you go. The +1. My duo could come. Now, you've heard our opinions on some of the players here at this tournament. We'd also like to know who you think is the MVP of the group stage. Hit us up using the hashtag MSI2018, and we'll highlight your answers throughout the final days. Today's schedule, though, in our first 2 games, we've got the top 4 teams facing each other, starting with Kingzone versus RNG. From there, Team Liquid and EVOS look to secure a much-needed win before we start with today's second set of games.
And ultimately, today is just a kick-ass set of games. I can't think of any more hype matchups than possible. We've got EU versus NA, and it could all be on the line if it's make or break for TL, because if they win early on in the day, they must win that Fnatic game.
Yeah, you're saying EU versus NA all the way at the end of the day. Before that even, the hype matchup between the 1 and 5 teams, this is kind of the point in the tournament where you feel like the ones at the bottom have to make their run now if they're going to make a run.
Yeah, and when I saw the schedule, 5 of the 6 games to me are must-watch matches because of the implications, because of the way that it could really swing in any direction. Doing predictions for this, to me, was a nightmare because there are a lot of games where I'm thinking it's like 55-45, and I'm trying to formulate in my head, so how do I make a compelling argument for this team to beat this team? Because that's kind of how you do predictions.
Right.
And it was hard. So many of these games were a bit of a toss-up.
Yeah, saying anything definitively here on this day is going to be quite tough. Of course, I'm looking at RNG's schedule as one of the tougher of the day, playing both the 1 and 2 slots right now in the standings.
And it's just a question if RNG are done getting smacked around, if they're finally going to step up and showcase what they did domestically, because we keep talking about, pretenders and contenders, who's actually going to go back into their form. RNG have yet to show up on this international stage.
Now, as usual, our analysts have made their predictions for today's game, so let's go ahead and check out their picks. Throwing up for all 6 games. We are identical across the first 3, predicting that Team Liquid will pick up that much-needed win against EVOS. Kobe trying to salvage it for guest here with that one Team Liquid call at the end of the day. And, of course, we have a couple differences in that RNG Flash Wolves discussion. So let's hit that game 4 real quick.
So I'm the only one that thinks the 6-0 team
is going to continue winning.
But that's then assuming that they're going to go 10-0.
What? No, it's not. He still can predict tomorrow.
So it's like
He's predicting that they'll go 8-0.
Yeah.
All right, for RNG, I was thinking Uzi and Ming are better players, and they're going to show it in this game. In addition, we talked about MLXG and how many bad performances he's had. I'm also a Feast or Famine jungler, and I feel like it's about time for it to swing around, and some of these decisions are going to work out.
Eventually.
I think it is quite a risk to go for Uzi and Ming right now, especially in comparison to Betty and Sorda with some of that Rakan performance. For me, it's all about Xiaohu. Xiaohu has just been, should have been on the slumping. He has definitely been in the gutter. I think it's time for him to pull out, to find a champion like Talia and start matching Maple in his roam style. And I think Maple will only elevate to making Xiaohu perform the best of his ability, getting out into those side lanes, which works better for RNG.
And I also got to point out that only the first 3 predictions are locked. We're allowed to change the next 3 depending on what happens, because I have an upset candidate for me would be Fnatic over Flash Wolves. When I look at a lot of the indicators for Fnatic, like early game gold, and also how they're supposed to be good in team fights, there's a world where they are 5-1 in this tournament with a few scenarios played out differently in the past. So they could actually be super strong.
I was actually pretty close to putting Fnatic over Flash Wolves at the beginning of the day and having the upset there.
What changed?
I will, if you change your vote, I will look down on you. Just know that I'll lose a little bit of respect.
You mean later on in the day?
You can't change the vote for the first 3. I'm a little disappointed that none of you did put your faith in Fnatic after this discussion here, but that's enough from us. It's time to head over to the casters for Kingzone versus RNG. So take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Dash, and hello, everyone. I'm Clay Captain Flowers Reigns, joined by Andrew Bettius Day and Chris Papa Smithy Smith. Boys, are you ready for day number 4 here?
I'm so hyped, guys. It's a really fun start to the day. We're starting with the Rift rivals themselves, China versus Korea, ending with Rift rivals in NA versus EU. It's going to be hype.
It's certainly going to be hype, and I am fascinated to see what adjustments RNG have made coming into their rematch versus Kingzone, because the last time, things did not go the way they wanted.
Well, that rematch is our first game of the day here, pitting Kingzone against RNG with the LCK champions playing on the blue side with Khan in the top lane, Peanut in the jungle, BDD mid, Prey on AD carry, Gorilla at support, and Coach Axine.
On the other side of the rift, we have RNG. In the top lane is Let Me, their jungler MLXG, mid laner Xiaohu, AD carry Uzi, support Ming, and Coach Hart.
I'm happy that you mentioned the last time, because the last time, Vedius, it was a rough time for the Chinese fans. The early game, from there, the Graves invade, you'll remember, around the top side, parlayed into almost a smothering of this superstar Chinese squad. And the level 1 here, I think, is going to be fiery, because if we judge Kingzone by their last performance, they're definitely looking to return to their aggressive roots.
Yeah, I really want to see more of these creative picks from Kingzone, because they have had quite a wealth of different champions. 5 different champions over 6 games.